So Gunrunners versus Kazna crew here. The first round of the season. Kazna crew on the offense. Gunrunners going to be trying to defend this one. And Mojo, the start for both these teams. How does it look?
Well, we see Anji is pushed in his Kranwagen here. It's the best position for him on G1 because that position is perfect for such a tank. Minus 12 degrees of gun depression, biggest in the game with the biggest armor, so he can control the corner on E1. Kazna has that object tier 9 medium that is perfect for capping over there or even on a 2 cap, so we'll see how will they use it. Saigo is playing a 1390. What will be his survival rate against Stefan? That's also to be seen.
Can already see some glimpse there of the first person obviously introduced with this patch. A great addition. And Mojo, before people call us out, Kranwagen does not have the biggest depression in the game, but it does have it on tier 10.
I think Emil or something like that has
a Dicker Max, I think.
Dicker Max?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a tank on the lower tier that has minus 14 or minus 15.
Wow.
One of the two.
I even didn't know that, man.
So just before somebody goes in chat like, you are wrong, I'm just like correcting ourselves here.
Biggest gun depression of the tanks that we actually want to use.
Pretty much. And you can see here the first person, you can see exactly where Storm is looking. It's a great addition. Gonna definitely see some great things in there. We can already see Kazna Cruz pushing up slightly there with Haiba and Stefan, and Isna trying to take that K-line control. And we'll see here Danny also going a little bit aggressive and taking this forward position. Can be a good thing, but we've seen it be disastrous for some
Man, I hope Danny has a good internet, because first match he played in Go Hard, they were on brink of victory on Murovanka, and he disconnected in a crucial moment. That was horrible.
He will be fine, I guess. You can see Danny here probably reloading heat ammunition at this point as he had shots available, but knows he has to fight against D5. Piotr there making a blind shot. Obviously the only position he can get spotted from is that exact bush where Danny is playing.
So Piotr here, one of the new guys in Kazna, but we all know him from out of range. And pretty much the rest of the lineup except Diplomat is same for ages now. Now Diplomat, not in RT, but in Bachat, and Stefan, not in Grilla on Murovanka, but in TVP.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Kazna crew obviously still have a lot of time available here. They've taken a decent amount of map control and now starting to blind fire those bushes, but it's going to take a while before they find Zigo.
I think usually it was Ilian playing TVP before. So they did a shit like that.
Ilian indeed.
Haiba is probing on that K-line from the bushes, so they're trying to determine where is the spotter. Because if they find him, they can actually go and more or less try to trigger Gunrunners' reaction by capping. And with Gunrunners having 2 tanks like Kranwagen is, that's going to be a problem. Saigo is found. Saigo is found and he's taking damage.
Already taking 2 shots there and miss, and he goes down. Great stuff there from Kazna crew, finding the scout pretty early on in the game as well.
And Stefan again. He's a really good hunter for those scouts on this map. And Kazna obviously has a great detection system by talking to each other and probing different bushes and so on. So after 3.5 minutes they found a scout for this map. This is actually quite a good time.
This is indeed a very good timing for them here. They have to be careful because the counter push from Gunrunners will come out right now. Nexus will be the first one to receive. Martin gets tracked, repairs that. And you can see there the 1-2 line push is coming out. Nexus still holding. Martin takes a lot of damage, takes even more, gets tracked again. He should be going down here. Ondrax in the meantime pushing forwards as well, but this is costing them so much HP. And Nexus, he got off his 5 shots and he doesn't need to do anything else. Now he will go down, but he's pretty much taken down 2 Bachas for this.
I mean, he might even survive, actually, and go away for free, more or less. This is what I would call like a Ding defense, because Ding was a team leaving 2 Bachas before here, on that side. But that really beat them, and since they started making triangle, it worked. Because with 3 Bachats in a crossfire there, you can pretty much endlessly defend, and you can see the result here. Andrax dead, Martan almost dead, Dani on 1/3 of HP. This game is pretty much Kazna's game already. 3k HP advantage.
Indeed, but it's not just over yet, Mojo. Unji there in the Kranwagen trying to do what he can. Already connecting 3, but Will, in the meantime, is taking a lot of damage here. Piotr goes down to a 1-shot. He needs to be careful. But again, the trades are on par from Kazna crew. They take down Unji in the Kranwagen. And now 4 tanks left standing here for Gunrunners, but they have no more HP left.
There is nothing to be said here. I mean, most of these tanks are even in reload now. Maybe Bachats will come out to the reload shortly, but they are in really horrible positions. They cannot even leave it, and they're defending. Kazna can pretty much choose whatever they want to do, kill or cap.
Indeed, they have them surrounded from every single angle. Storm is the only one with HP left in at E5. He's almost full 1,600 left for him, but they lose Martin. They lost Danny before that. Now Will be the next one. He just about has reload available. It's not going to help him much, as there's just too many tanks from Kazna crew here, and this was a good start here. Pretty much what they needed. Going to pick up that first round on the Moravanka attack, and Mojo, we know the way the map plays out. This could already be a 2-0 start for Mojo. For Kazna, not for Mojo.
Well, it does look really well for Kazna. I mean, Kazna played Moravanka often much better than their stats would say. From the last season, they have about 46% win rate. That's really nothing special, if you say so. But their meta changed, progressed, and toward the end, it really worked well on Moravanka. So I would say their map is really experience-wise on their favor, on their side.
Yeah, I mean, just in general experience as well, I'd say, is on their side. I mean, Gunrunners is the first match of the season. Nerfs is always going to be an issue coming into that. Oh, guys, it's our first match. You know, you've trained for weeks, months even, up until this point, but it's the first time it really matters.
We're going to see how will Kazna actually defend now, because Vetso hinted in his interview that they will not really change much, that they will just play some defaults. I would say that's a copy-paste from Ding, who did that entire season previously.
And it worked 18 times.
And it worked 18 times in a row. And
actually,
then
a couple of times more. At
24 in total, as we counted, I
well,
think.
they're still undefeated in the EU region.
Yes, the only match they lost was on Championships Rubble, and it was against Hellraisers or Tornado Energy.
Tornado Energy.
Oh. So they lost that match, and that was the first match they actually lost. So
yeah, but you could just see here in this round, you know, once Seago goes down, Gunrunners is pushed into an attack, a counter push onto the 1-2 line where Kazna was just set up for it to receive it, and they pretty much slaughtered it, to be honest.
I was about to say, when they already found him, that they have two Crown Wagons. If the spotter dies, they will be in a deep problem, because Crown Wagons are perfect in hold down when they want to shoot enemy below or whatever behind the hill.
Have to leave it.
But when they have to leave the position and they open their flanks, they're like, I don't know, shooting ducks.
It's just the thing about the gun, you know, it's like Kranwagen with the gun, it's not that great. Let's take a look at the stats, though, where I'll probably be proven wrong. But no, actually, pretty right there. Will doing a decent amount. But as I was saying, like the Kranwagen, like you said, once it has to start moving, it doesn't have the greatest gun in the game. By far, it doesn't. Like, it is a heat gun in these kind of
everything
situations.
Is a problem, even the armor,
Yes.
then, because it can be penned with everything.
Yeah, and the gun, like on the move, it doesn't hit anything.
Yes, so that tank, it's not even the fastest tank.
No,
like
no,
we
it's
did a
not.
speed test, even T57 is beating it on a short run.
Yeah, indeed. So most of the Gunrunners players there on the second page. No real surprise. Do I have anybody from this on my fantasy team? I have Durs, but he's not playing. And I have Piotr.
I have there is also, man.
I know, right? They need to put him in.
It is not justice. I'm gonna do ugly duckling again.
But now, second round, Kazna crew defending. I mean, this is a comfortable position for them, to be fair.
Pretty much, they just have to check out what are the Gunrunners doing. This is more or less reaction map. I mean, rarely people just try to attack when they're defending. And it can work. We know it can work. But usually you just wait for other people's reaction and then you rotate. And if you guess the rotation right, you win. If you do a wrong rotation like Gunrunners did now, well, we saw what happened there.
Yeah, but still impressed by the way Kazna crew managed to find Seago in pretty much 2 minutes. And already, let's take a look at the lineups for the second round here coming into Moravanka. It's still Gunrunners against Kazna crew. And here, Gunrunners, they're adapting, but so is Kazna crew. Emil 2 Mojo.
Emil 2, this is a tier 9 Swedish heavy tank, which has pretty much similar stats as a tier 10. It's just 1 point less, so tier 9, and they can play together with Bachat 18.
The gun is also
13,
still
9.
a little bit worse. It has a little bit longer interclip and between shots as well, and 10 millimeters less third armor.
Still, they can put it in that
the 1-2
position
line.
on a end line, yes, and they can protect it from there. Also, they have an IS-7, and they can do a much bigger attack with the other tanks. Also, tier 9 Bachat can be used instead of...
But Mojo, we talked about it. It is weak against Artie, and this is exactly what Gunrunners brought to the table.
I'm expecting actually Kazna not to wait for them with this lineup.
That could work into the favor of Gunrunners still, though, if they set up correctly. What I'm still surprised by is what I talked to you before this, before the broadcast even. When are we going to see an Udes?
Udes, Daki hinted, it's tier 10 TD, tier 8 TD of the Swedish line. It has really great camo value. It goes fast forward, backwards. I mean, it's really good spotter. And a great gun, also with great DPM. So our guess is sooner or later it's going to be used, but also it can be a problem because it doesn't have a rotational turret also, so some teams might be hesitant to use it. Also, Daki thinks because it has a lower view range, it's actually going to be beneficial for defender because he will spot more or less only what they need, and it's going to be harder for attackers to guess where it is because of the lower view range.
And the angles make it so that I can actually bounce some shots.
Yes, he can actually defend himself in that way, passive way.
But I like this. I like this from both these teams. I mean, Gunrun is bringing RD. That's cool. We'll see how they decide to use him. But, you know, the Swedish heavy tanks coming out, I'm a fan. This is I'm glad to see teams at least trying to use them. So let's find out into the let's go into the second round here and find out what this Swedish master race can actually achieve. And it's going to be Gunrunners attacking now, Mojo. And what do you expect Kazna crew to do? Because you said you don't expect them to just sit in the base.
I'm expecting actually they will do the pressure because RT games are really hard. You need to pinpoint the enemy and then just shoot them while they're stationary. I'm thinking they will try to get the control, and there's theirs. Oh, thank you. They'll take control of the forest maybe, which they're doing.
Yeah, indeed. Already 3 bad shots over there, taking very early control. Onrex does get spotted out. You can see Vetso is going to be playing that Emil 2 there. Fairly quick, Stefan is going to be the spotter, and it all depends on how long those Gunrunners take to realize this flank is coming out here from Kazna crew.
Well, Kazna is pretty well distributed. They have Vetso there. He needs to get to that H1, G1 position. That's going to be a bit tricky because it's a slow tank, so he's scared to cross now so he wouldn't get shot in the flank. But they also have a Diplomat to help him and TVP. So more or less all the rotation is done by French mediums.
RD shot. RD just shot. But base capture has started. 1 tank on there, 1 minute and 47 seconds. Let's take a very good look at that, as it's very easy to lose track of that timer.
Well, as we said already, Kranwagen and Emil and that line, they're not the really fastest ones, but Vetso is slowly limping there, and he will has a great cooldown against these tanks, and heat shells ready.
How much will he take as damage though? Because Unji is waiting in that 1-2 line. You can see it over there, and Storm is the first one up. 15 seconds here. Kazna crew, they're starting to surround. Gunrunners needs to make sure they don't get trapped here. 9 seconds left now at this point. Piotr makes the shot, doesn't connect it, but fire comes in from the back line. Does get reset, and now they are in a crossfire. And look at the damage Grill is taking in that Kranwagen, already down to 800 HP. Onrex is taking a lot as well now. Storm in the E5 getting focused down, and Gunrunners kind of let themselves get surrounded here by Kazna crew.
This is a horrible play now by them, honestly, because Kazna just outthought them from the start. And by the pick of Kazna, they could have guessed what's going to be done. Like, they could have guessed that Kazna will just not wait for it. Kazna was one of the teams that got capped on Murovanka not once, but 2 or 3 times. They're not going to allow it again. They're not going to just allow it to happen again.
Indeed, they already lost Will in the Kranwagen. Now Storm is a one-shot as well. Stefan's coming over in the TVP. Can he pick something up? Lands the first on Ondrex, picks him up. Now maybe he gets Storm as well. One more shot in the clip for Stefan. Oh, a low roll doesn't connect it. Daniax actually kills Stefan from full HP. That's a lot of HP gone, but there is just too much remaining here for Kazna crew.
It's 3000 HP advantage. Martin has a dead gunner, and they have an arty. I mean, Dani would have to pull off 2 more shots like that just to come back in the game.
Yeah, indeed. It doesn't look like Kazna crew is going to give Dani that possibility to do so, as they are pushing forwards. Martin takes another shot there. Nexus is now coming in. He goes down. Unji and that Gorilla is just, you know, sitting in the open at this point. He'll go down towards Piotr, and it's just Enrico and Dani left standing.
Well, maybe Dani can shotgun one. Just for the lulz.
Nope.
Or not.
Nope. And Enrico now the last guy. Again, 6 players from Kazna crew. I mean, there's always the potential here, but it's very unlikely as he takes a lot of shots. One more. Vetso is the one to pick it up, and 2-0 already. Very quick games here for Kazna crew.
Rather quick and aggressive game, as we predicted. And Gunrunners are not looking the best, at least not on this map.
No, indeed. And that was, I mean, that rotation coming through the forest with 3 bad shots is not the first time this has happened when teams see an RD.
No, if you studied Kazna a bit more and better, I would say tactically, you would even know that they are doing it. They are doing it, and quite often. They were even caught by doing it. So as we saw once or twice. But Kazna, rather easy stroll on this map, great plays, secure plays even, with new members.
Yeah, indeed, and Gunrunner is going to have to show just a little bit more if they want to take it to Kazna crew. I mean, kind of just have to forget about that map, move on.
Well, they tried to adjust to meta. They took some Swedish tanks. They tried to play with RT, but it just didn't work out because RT still provokes a slow play by the attacker. And then you have to do perfect defense, but still you have to stretch over the map and risk. And Kazna just used it really well.
Rotations whatsoever. 3 guys on the cap, and then the spots were really late.
It looked like really a blind play.
Yeah, indeed, and the statistics here. There's my man.
Yay! I think he will be the my man of everyone in the league, man. I mean, we're talking about ESL Fantasy that started, guys, so who didn't just go and apply. And
I think it's fantasy.eslgaming.com/WOT.
Yeah, and Durs actually has a very specific price range there, so you will notice he's very beneficial.
Well, I have Durs and Piotr in this match.
So, well, then you're doing good, man. So far, so good.
Mojo, after last season, we're not messing around anymore. We're going for the win. And, you know, like last season, I gave it to Ryan pretty much on a silver platter. Like, here, Ryan, take it. You know, I just want to make you feel good. But this season, it's business.
Vengeance.
Especially after he made that Facebook post saying that all he wants to do is smash me now. Now Hulk smash will come in.
We just blame the system. It was not perfect last season.
Exactly.
So it was the system, not us.
We're now Mojo's second map here, Himmelsdorf, and you said before, one of the better maps for Kazna crew.
One of the most played maps. Over 60% win ratio, pretty confident there. I mean, Kazna played Himmelsdorf since the very beginnings. That map never left the map pool of ESL and Wargaming League. So I would say they will be rather confident there.
Hopefully. I mean, we have seen them lose on Himmelsdorf as well. Most memorably, Legend.
That was legendary match, man.
I still remember
It happens once in ever.
Happens once in a lifetime.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, for this match, ideally, I had like a 5-1 in mind, maybe 5-2 for Kazna crew. And I just want Gunrunners to show something. You know, it's going to be a long season for them. They're going to play a lot of matches. And, you know, this is all about proving themselves. I mean, they don't have to take the win against Kazna crew in the first match.
Well, if Gunrunners do well on Himmelsdorf now, they might have a chance because after that there is Ruinberg and Mainz. That's tricky maps. And then tiebreaker is again Himmelsdorf. So this is kind of a key map for them because if they don't take at least minimum one game with that, this is going to be a landslide.
You think they need to take one game on Himmelsdorf?
Minimum. 2 actually to come back in a game properly, but they need one to just have chance to play at least 3 or 4 maps.
Let's take a look at the highlights here from the last game. Here they were surrounded by Kazna crew and just, I don't know how they allowed it to happen. And Stefan here gets wiped out.
Pretty much, Stefan really got shot by Arti, but he already did the damage, so the deed was done and it didn't really matter. Also, the rotations by Kazna were already done. They were in position to deal with everything that Gunrunners had. Having 3 tanks stuck in a cap and Arti on the side, it really doesn't help.
Kinda doesn't know. And that Kranwagen again didn't get used to its full potential, was caught in the open once more. But Mojo, let's get into the third round here already on Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
So Mojo, Gunrunners versus Kazna crew, currently 2-0 for Kazna crew, and you can see the lineups here. Mojo, what do you think? What do you think? Can Gunrunners do it?
Well, miracles happen. There is always a Cinderella story and things like that. But we will see how will reality face it. Kazna is playing rather standard here with RU spotter on the hill, but also playing with 2 Bachats. So that's going to be interesting because that will allow them a lot of rotations. So that's a bit of a different meta. So 2 1-1-3s, 2 50Bs, 2 Bachats quite a rotational setup there. On the other hand, Gunrunners taking over the control of the rail, expecting maybe a hard push there by Kazna, which is not coming there. And they're playing again with one more Swedish, Emil. Emil tier 9.
It'll be interesting to see where this tier 9 Emil will get used. And look at his defense from Gunrunners, Mojo. Ooh, he's here. This could be a very strong position. Look where he is, and he's in A5. Just noticed that on the minimap. Look, I don't think you can dig him out from there. But then again, if Kazna crew takes the cap, it doesn't really matter.
If Kazna does the rotation faster than Gunrunners, we know one way that that tank can be dug up. They'll just send someone to clip him to death. That someone will take a lot of damage, but Emil does not have a potential to kill anyone except Ru here, on hands one-on-one.
Oh, indeed, and now the rotation here from Komi Piotr down at 8 line. In the meantime, Haiba and Stefan are already in that 0 line. Danny is now moving back as well, and Mojo Fala is in the lineup.
Oh, we have a United Nations of Kazna here, man. They're changing one player every game.
Yeah, but they took theirs out, so I don't know about this, man.
Yeah, rip my fantasy again, man. Last season I had Vala and he was on vacation for a couple of weeks.
Ooh, but look at that position that Haiba took, though. Once Martin peaks, he is in trouble, especially in that RU251. He'll take at least 2 shots running away.
Pretty much. Let us see. Ondrax here got a bit owned by even high alpha of a Haiba there. But they know where he is. But they're still not showing their tier 9.
Why did Martin not shoot at Haiba?
Piotr is also spotted. He was probably scared if he turns the turret that Piotr will clip him.
Yeah, but that's damage lost out on.
I think it would be more hurtful for Gunrunners if they lost damage on Martin than just shooting Haiba.
Now Haiba connected another shot onto Ondrax here, and Danny takes 1 from Stefan, takes 2 from Stefan even. 680 there. Kazna crew chipping away a little bit of the HP here from Gunrunners, but so far no decisive moves just yet.
Well, nothing is needed. There is only 3 minutes in the game. And there we go. This is the rotation. They will probably try to catch them off guard. Maybe even successfully, because Abachat and T10 are pretty much alone over the rail there. Will is a bit far away in his 50B, so it's questionable how he'll be able to actually help them.
Ondrax here still controlling that northern side, but the main issue is going to be that K-line, which Kazna crew is now backing off from, and not that many tanks in position here to decap from Gunrunners.
Kazna really has to do some damage to Gunrunners because their setup is quite light. And if they make a single mistake in attack, they're gonna probably lose the game. At the moment they're doing well and HP is pretty much equal. Cap is on 50% and Kazna completely throwing all of their cards on a top 2 cap.
Enrico there spots our Vetso moving down the 8 line, but 20 seconds left here. There's going to have to be a quick rotation from Gunrunners. It seems like both these teams will come into a head-to-head engagement here on the B line. Martin already takes a shot, and he's going to have to be the one to reset. There we go. Gets the reset, but he gets tracked. Takes some damage, but he does some in return towards Haiba. And Gunrunners here, the main issue is that they're just bleeding HP all over the place. And now Vala is in a one-on-one with Unji there. So this could be the changing factor here if Martin survives. And Vala goes down here towards Unji. Unji has 2 more shots, 1 more shot. He needs a high roll to pick him up. Can he get it? No. Vala survives on 63 HP and is now pushing forwards towards Unji. Unji will take at least 1 more shot running away there. Gunner goes down as well. And Rico should be able to support him. And Gunrunners still 2k HP down.
Piotr is going full speed to help out Vale before Unji can run away and do another clip. Unji is on really low HP now. The problem for Gunrunners now, except being on lower HP as we can see obviously here, is they lost HP on crucial tanks needed for rotations. So yes, Kazna lost some HP on Haiba and on Vale. Vale as 1-1-3. But Vale is supposed to lose HP. But when you lose HP on Bachats and 50Bs, that's kind of a problem because the other team can walk you around the map then.
Martin there tries to connect a shot against Stefan, does not get it. Piotr here, only 2 more shots available. Vala still has to be careful as Enrico is now pushing forwards in that T10, and it's not just over just yet here for Gunrunners as Diplomat and Nexus are now pushing forwards together with Vetso. Seems like they want to kill those tanks in that A6 position. Storm is the first focus as 50Bs are unloading their clips onto him. 2 more shots will do it. There we go. Diplomat picks it up. Now Stefan will probably come around that corner, finish off Martin, and in the meantime, Gunrunners trying to make a play here towards the southern side, but there's no Kazna crew tanks left to catch out.
Yes, Kazna is really walking them around. As we said, their fast tanks are just playing with Gunrunners. They're fading on a map and appearing where Gunrunners are not actually certain they will attack in full speed. And now they're finding them surrounded in this 5-line.
Surrounded they are as Stefan unloads his clip, but now Dani and Ondrax are both one-shot. Ondrax picks up Stefan, but Vesto just has too much HP really for them to deal with it, and there is Diplomat coming in as well as Ondrax goes down. Dani soon to follow, just Will and Enrico standing, and again, Kazna crew just very, very dominant in this game.
And this is a clear 3-0 Himmelsdorf attack picked up by Kazna already, we can freely say it. Even a miracle would be too much for Gunrunners at the moment.
Indeed, and Vale, who got clipped by Unji, still alive, still doing damage at this point, and on the first bad round here for Vale, he picks up Will, might even get some damage onto Enrico, as Enrico lets off a shot against Vetso. Vale will come around the corner and give him a big shot here, there we go, and he's still alive.
Still alive and kicking, boys!
Pretty much, as now Enrico will probably get picked up by Vale, who comes around the corner. There we go, Kazna crew 3-0.
Really confident and easy 3-0. Pretty good display for Kazna,
Yes.
especially for a first match in a season, which is usually the one they blunder the most. But there we go.
Mojo, don't jinx it. There is always the potential for,
Swift return.
I mean, a swift return. Wow. But there's always the potential there for an out of range to happen, you know, being down 4-0.
Yeah. We've seen that happen, and they have a couple of those players there. But they're now mixed with Kazna guys, so who knows. Why we mentioned Swift is
Well, you
last,
have the out of range
season.
curse and then the penta curse, so does that really match out the 5 other players? I'd say it's like equal.
We are two at like Voodoo Dolls and Mojo and, Juju. We're just gonna stick to tanks. A bit.
But yeah, Vala staying alive there is good. I mean, Gunrunners, again, just being dragged around the map, leaking damage everywhere.
It started slow. Kazna was probing where Gunrunners are. Gunrunners were playing more or less passive. They were scared of traps, obviously, because Kazna had such a fast lineup. And look at this. Vale, the guy who was on one shot all the time, almost 4.5k damage in his 1-1-3. That's brutal, man.
Yeah, not bad there from Vala to do 4.4k damage.
After playing Tetris and Barbies,
Yeah,
1-1-3 is easy.
seems like it was a good idea after all not to uninstall his things. Oh, but Unji again, pretty good performance. He's been on that top half of the leaderboard for, I think, the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, but there we have Dani again. He's keeping to his bottom positions, man.
Wow,
Not
man.
really good games.
Storm and Martin are below him.
Yeah, pretty much. Not really great games, not really great display by Gunrunners. They were trying to keep up with Kazna movements on the map, but simply they were always one step behind. Kazna always kept 1 or 2 tanks in a fade who were attacking the crucial positions where Gunrunners left someone behind, and they were always playing with health, not giving enough of damage.
We'll have to see if Gunrunners could possibly attack. I mean, maybe their strength is going to be on Himmelsdorf attack. You never know.
No, it can happen, of course. Like, if you play aggressive enough or take the positions enough, you can always come back in the game. As we were saying, like Swift last season in the second half, out of like last 5 or 6 matches, they have like 4 time breakers. They were coming from 1 to 4 several times when we already had a casket open, stake through the heart and everything. Right? Everything is possible.
Well, Joe, let's be real. You want Kazna to win this 5-0.
Of course.
I think Gunrunners, they can still do it. I want to have to be on their side. You know, Unji is getting dangerously close to going to somewhere else. But let's take a look at the lineups for the 4th round already, Mojo. Swedish, no Swedish, but a nice 4 though from Kazna.
Let's see. Kazna, Ice 4 in defense. That's an old school one. I mean, now after the patch, even Ice 4 has that roof fixed finally. So it's not that much of a weak spot.
Does it?
Yep.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
And pretty much standard lineup by Gunrunners. They have only a Grilla instead of a budget. And the 1390, that means they will not really do that uber fast spot on a hill. But still, 1390 can be used for that also.
Mojo, is it going to be 4-0 or is it going to be 3-1?
I kind of like the Kazna lineup a bit more here. Because that grille is kind of situational, how you use it. You really have to lure the enemy to the trap so you can use it to full potential. They also have a 1390, Kazna has a tier 9, so I think Kazna has a bit more better lineup.
Still siding with Kazna. It is Mojo. I don't know. I don't know about this IS-4. I really don't like the tank. The gun, it really annoys the hell out of me.
Well, obviously, since they have it, it's going to be a positional tank and everyone else will rotate around it. So, more or less, how you position the IS-4, that's how the other guys will evolve. Usually it's used in the top cap, but we've seen people abandon it on one line to control the open cap from the far behind the gas tanks.
Indeed, it's going to be interesting to see, and I hope Gunrunners can show us something that gives us signs of hope. So let's jump into the fourth round here. Could be already match point here for Kazna crew as they take on the defense. Gunrunners is going to be on the attack, and Mojo, what do you expect Gunrunners to do? Blitz onto the number 2 base?
I don't really think they will blitz anything with this setup. Like, playing with Grille needs time to set up. He will go on a hill to set up to see is there any target. He needs a spotter for that. At this time they chose actually a Bachat, which is a new one, to play with him, and 3090 will, I guess, then have to spot the courtyard. Kazna knows to play aggressive on courtyard. It's not unheard of. But this time, with IS-4, they obviously chose to play a bit slower. So Grille is already waiting to see can he shoot someone on the 8 line. You can see how he positioned for that. Piotr did a fast spot. He knows there is someone on a hill. And Kazna really didn't expect any kind of serious rail push. You can see that by not committing too much tanks down there.
Indeed, Ondra will now get out of there as he got his initial spot. In the meantime, Will took the 8 line hold on position. Enrico spotting out Vetso there. And what is the next move here going to be from Gunrunners?
Well, they need to try to make Kazna rotate like Kazna made them, run around the map, bleed their HP, do something. So they need to spot the 2 cap. They need to see first where is IS-4. That's the crucial part for them. They already know where is T10 in the windows on G2 position. We've seen it used also by Gunrunners before. And while they're doing that, they have to protect their back because they don't know will Kazna actually give them the chase over the lower part of the map or not.
Yeah, indeed. And so far, they seem to be waiting for something. Not sure what, but they are waiting for something. Perhaps talking about how to approach this defense from Kazna crew.
And they're waiting for maybe some impatient move by Kazna, but in last matches, I think Kazna was actually really well timed, so I don't think that will happen. And Haiba is finally spotted. We can see it on a map. So they have idea how is the team composition. Now they need to think of a strat how to actually break it.
Diplomat gets spotted out again, makes a shot, does not connect it. He didn't even see Enrico crossing back out of there. So, I mean, Gunrunners have some info, but now, perhaps now they pull their 1390 out of that window position, they will be relocating him towards the hill and then make an approach towards that number 2 base.
Yes, I would say even maybe the 3090 can do a cap from a top part of the A line, because Kazna is not really protecting it and they would have to go and commit and counter-attack it. That would be the only safe spot for the 3090. Everything else would be a bait from the lower side of the map, but that we know is open. Because if Kazna presses over the courtyard, they can reset from there easily.
Yeah, these 50Bs actually got down the 8 line without getting shot. We saw Diplomat there coming very close to perhaps trying, but didn't connect on. Now Stefan is taking more control on that southern side of the map here. And now with that IS-4, but Haiba pulled back very far, so they can start capping.
Yes, very fuzzy camo by Gunrunners, with those blues hexagons or squares. Looks a bit like a Chinese army, honestly, if you ever saw their camo values.
Look at that damage Danny took to in his gorilla. Took 811 there, probably from Diplomat. You can see that the setup from Haiba is binoculars with double repair kit and rations. So for that extra view range to spot the gorilla.
And they're risking if he gets set on fire, but it's it's a doable risk, especially if they never plan to leave him behind somewhere, angling, so no one can really shoot his engine. So if he's going to be used more or less in this kind of lineup as a battering ram, and we saw that he has a binos, so they never wanted to leave him behind, yeah, it's okay, because he will soak up a lot of damage if someone is shooting him with heat in the tracks. There's his back in lineup, by the way. So we have some points there. And when he soaks up that, the other Clippers from Kazna will push.
Ondrax there got a lot of information for his team now. Stefan's in the courtyard, and he got spotted out against Will, and there comes the push from Kazna crew. They're now moving across that AB line with the biggest part of their tanks, and Ondrax takes so much damage for an overextension there. 3 shots left for him. Cap gets abandoned, but in return, Nexus is taking so much as well in his AMX 50B, minus 1.5 there. A great shot from Dani from the hill, and Gunrunners finally trading equal with Kazna crew.
It's a big trade that came here, and they are more or less equal, we would say there, but the problem is Nexus is on 1 shot now. But still, the cap pressure is not really significant now, and the guy in a problem is Will, who tried to chase Stefan.
Yeah, and Stefan there, luckily enough, having a fire extinguisher, kind of blocking theirs as well. And there comes the support from the 50Bs. If Will can survive, and Stefan, he's on fire again. He's going to go down here. Second fire, Will picks them up. Now theirs is clipping onto Will, but it took so long. Enrico is coming from behind, but he has to be careful as Nexus is there. They're going to be losing that 1390 most likely, but not before he does a ton of damage. The Gorilla from the hill also coming in, and Gunrunners actually with a 2-tank, well actually 1-tank advantage, excuse me, lead here over Kazna.
It looks perfect for Kazna because they did not really do a great counter-attack now, but it's still not over. HP is rather similar, and I think most of the autoloaders of Gunrunners are without shells. So if Kazna does something in next 30 seconds, they will be back in the game. If not, it's pretty much GG, because having a lot of HP on tanks like Grille, at the end of the game, it doesn't really help.
Biggest issue here for the lineup of Kazna crew is going to be that Haiba is in no man's land by himself in that IS-4 pretty much. And this is what I like from Gunrunners, the rotation coming out. They know that Kazna crew is going to try and surround them, but they say no.
They are using the speed of their tanks, but it does look like Kazna is more or less guessing it because they already sent tanks down. The question is at hand, honestly, will that be enough? Because Gunrunners had a lot of mobile tanks, Clippers, autoloaders on the way there. And honestly, Piotr in that tier 9, I don't see a way for him to survive, backed up only by Nexus on 250 HP.
Unji takes a big shot there from the Gorilla. That was Diplomat from that B5 position on the crossing. He's not going to be happy with that one. That pretty much evens out the game once more. Fetzo has to be careful not to overextend this. There is a Dani waiting in his Gorilla as well. And now the tanks from Gunrunners did get across. And I'd say with 3 minutes and 6 seconds left, there is still potential here for good play from them.
Gunrunners are looking really good in this game. Honestly, Kazna brought some bad decisions in that counter-attack, and they certainly didn't pay off. But the question is, what will Gunrunners do now? Now it looks like they want to press the 1 cap more. That can pay off only if they actually score a kill now.
I don't like that Piotr position in a bush. That is very, very easy to recognize this.
It is, but we will see how skilled are Gunrunners to actually expect something like it. Piotr will provide good spots for his team there, and eventually, if needed, he will do some decapping himself. But it's all about HP at the moment. So Storm doesn't even guess he's there. They're trying to kill Nexus, who is really on a thread line there.
You can see there's Storm in that 113, got very close to getting that shot. Diplomat now looking across the 3 line, trying to find an angle. Dani's still on the hill. He needs to make sure that he has the right timing. And the biggest issue here, Mojo, is going to be the fact that, like you said, Piotr is there and he can reset. And if he reset once, they need to put 2 tanks on the count.
Yes, then they need to risk entering Diplomats and Vetso's fire line, which will be a huge problem. They can even sacrifice Piotr in that moment. It doesn't really matter, because it's actually exactly what Kazna is doing. They're gonna wait for the last moment for this to happen.
Yeah, they're gonna wait very long, and then Piotr does 1 reset, dies for it, but in return they will be getting...
I would say Diplomat now loaded some HE and he's just trying to shoot corners to see will he splash by accident.
He won't get that shot.
No, he won't, of course.
56 seconds here with 1 minute and 23 on the clock, but in return, Haiba here, he is going to go down as Unji comes around the corner, finds that IS-4, 3 shots will do the job Full clip pretty much. Haiba, he's in trouble. He can't do anything. And this is pretty good here from Gunrunners actually, with 2 tanks on the other cap. They will actually have enough time to still capture number 2 base.
This
and
is
now
actually
Storm is the
brilliant.
bait.
This is actually brilliant and really good team decision by them. Kazna is now in a dire pickle. I mean, they will sacrifice Piotr here, but base 2, how will they defend against that? They have 3 cappers there now.
Base 2 is under massive pressure as now Storm spots out Calmy Piotr. Piotr will go down here probably for that in return. There we go. Piotr goes down. Now Vetso and Nexus, they are scrambling to get back into the game. Vetso will take a big shot, hopefully. No, actually doesn't connect it. Nexus goes down, but Vetso is on reload. Danny did not connect onto the T10. 6 seconds left here. Diplomat's coming from behind. They need to take down Vetso here. 3 seconds. Vetso gets the reset, but Diplomat will be the only one standing. He takes down Onjax, but Vetso goes down, and this should still be, well, will it be? This should still be the game here pretty much for Gunrunners.
And they should win this because there is more than enough time to kill that one Grille. And Danny will reload faster than Diplomat.
But they need more than just Danny. 829, Danny needs HP, but Martin, he's there. 3 seconds left. He needs 2 more shots. No, Danny picks it up, and it will be Gunrunners in the last 3 seconds of the game to pick up their first round.
It came really, really close for them, but it was a great game.
Yeah.
Eventually, it was a great game.
And Danny missed on Vetso. I mean, if Danny hits that shot on Vetso, there is no reset. Maybe one.
Maybe one, but still. It was a really great tactical decision by Gunrunners to trigger 2 capes in the same time. I don't think Kazna saw it coming.
No, Kazna was sitting there like, well, Piotr, you reset in about 15 seconds, then we win the game, we go match point.
Still, even if Kazna saw it coming, I don't think they actually had any potential to do anything about it because their tanks were pretty much crippled. They lost most of their fast tanks. The ones that were remaining alive are Nexus and Piotr. Piotr was busy in the bush, and Nexus was on 250 HP. You don't leave a tank like that behind. So who will actually deal with this situation? So they left Haiba.
They sent Diplomat.
Yeah, they left Haiba, who is tier 9. So what happens with him, but he cannot deal with the Clippers. He's a single shooter tank.
You know, Haiba in that Ice 4 can obviously not deal with any of those Clippers. And there was good stuff there from Gunrunners. I mean, it got very close in the end, but luckily Martin just quick enough. And I mean, even Danny with HE could have killed Diplomat.
Yeah, but still, like if someone just rammed him and one shot by Danny, that's about it.
Great stuff there from Unji again. I mean, he has had a really good performance in this game so far. Danny there also in-game leading, 2.6k damage, Diplomat 2.7. Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Well, as we mentioned, Unji was always a crucial member of their team when it comes to the damage. But Diplomat is obviously a good reinforcement here for Kazna. And Kazna losing a defense on Himmelsdorf with Vetso and Nexus. I would say Vetso in T10 not that much to blame here, but Nexus picking up all the damage in their counter-attack. That's pretty much what costed them.
I also still don't know what happened there between Derz and Stefan. Was Derz reloading? Was Stefan blocking Derz? Because when Stefan was
it looked really odd and bad.
Like, because to me it just seemed like Stefan was pretty much blocking Derz, and then Derz
it looked greedy, man. It just looked greedy for a couple of more shots before running away. And I'm pretty sure that Derz actually had a clip.
Yeah, I think so as well. A little bit of miscommunication there. Possibly Stefan should have let Derz through in that situation.
Armor is better, and especially position and everything.
You know what to say? Karma's a, Karma's a very friendly woman.
Nice lady there. But that was a great payback here, and Gunrunners did well.
Yeah, and moving on to Ruenberg, well, they need to win this 2-0, I think.
I think Gunrunners are defenders on every possible map we have at the moment first. So they will be...
Kazna is defending on Ruenberg first.
100% sure?
I'm willing to bet my life on it.
Let's see.
I'm fairly certain about it. But now, Ruenberg, Mojo, what do you think from both these teams?
Experience comes to effect here. Kazna played it much more. I would say they weren't very successful always, but they should have a good idea what to do, while Gunrunners, it's questionable how much time they had to play it against the best teams, and timing is everything here. I mean, we've seen the lineups, let's say, with CDCs, you miss for like 1 centimeter how to position the tank, and everyone can decap you.
Yeah, but it didn't seem to matter for Tornado Energy, if you remember that one.
Yes, but they really team played it well, man, and they even did a double cap and block then, and it's a lot of details, and devil lies in details always.
Indeed, man. We've seen Kazna had some great performances on Ruenberg as well. against Swift in the online qualifier comes to mind, where they pulled back a game with like 3,000 HP down on attack. So, but I'm willing to give at least a defensive round to Gunrunners. I mean, Runeberg is possibly one of the hardest maps to attack.
Pretty much. So
unless you're playing against a less experienced team, then it actually becomes easier.
it does look like it will end on mines, honestly.
Maybe.
But if Gunrunners have something interesting in their sleeve and they surprise Kazna here,
I'm so ready for the lineups. I just kind of cheated, and I'm like, yes, yes.
you're alive.
Oh,
Your life is safe.
well, it's gonna be, you know, Mojo. I can't tell you. Honestly, I can't tell you. I have to wait until that graphic comes up and, you know, the tank names are there.
Oh
then
dear.
I can tell you.
I can see your screen from here, man. It doesn't matter. Well, Gunrunners here are definitely underdogs. Less experience, questionable training partners they could have compared to Kazna, who are the team that are pretty much forever in this league. They can pick a training partner from any server, and we will see just can Gunrunners outthink them like they did on the last map.
Well, Mojo, let's take a look at those interesting lineups moving on to the next map. Runeberg here. Oh, they're back.
The mouses of Tornado. So we have a VZ132 in Kazna lineup, something that we've also seen used by Tornado in the finals.
Yes. Was it Nesquik playing that?
Yes, he was
most
like...
annoying bugger on a VZ.
He did like almost 3k damage, man, and most on Pashat.
Most annoying WZ I've seen in my life.
Seriously, like he was chasing now. Smack, 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 smack. Like he was chasing Bachat in reload and they were just like, come on, man, stop shooting us already.
Although this is, I mean, good from Gunrunners because this will force Kazna crew to play not like they wanted to.
No, these mouses, when they push, they are a big hazard there. And TVP also will prevent Kazna to put someone in a hideout.
Well, Mojo, let's find out if Gunrunners can pick up another round here as we move into our third map, Runeberg.
Runeberg, a mixed type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the centre square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village when playing a heavy setup. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
So here we go, Gunrunners versus Kazna crew, 3-1 in favor of Kazna crew. Gunrunners on the attack with the triple mouse. Yes, indeed, a triple mouse from Gunrunners.
This game actually looks quite well. And this is opening something very similar to what Tornado Energy did on Championships Rumble with push of these mouses through the middle. But Enrico, he got pretty much wrecked here.
Oh, and Stefan got greedy there, missed the shot onto Enrico, took a lot of damage in return. And so far, Gunrunners a very aggressive opening here. Both Stefan and Diplomat are kind of locked down, and now Haiba is coming as well, and this is great stuff here from Gunrunners. I really like this opening they've done so far.
A Diplomat is in a bit of a problem there because he has a dead gunner now on that 62. That's really not a great thing to happen, but still, that gun is rather brilliant, so I think he can cope with it. Haiba is trying to dig out Enrico on blind shooting, and mouses are, of course, going max speed.
I like this so far from Gunrunners. They've now pushed the middle with the 3 mouses and are probably going to go for an A-line cross at the same time. Now Haiba, he tried to come and kill Enrico, but he won't be able to. He gets focused by the mouses. He still didn't kill Enrico. He goes down. Actually, I really like this from Gunrunners. I'm kind of surprised they didn't push across the A-line duo as well as getting focused down in his mouse. Nexus now clipping. Diplomat takes even more damage. Will probably the first mouse to go down here, but does it really matter? So much HP lost for Kazna crew already, and now they are going to group up with all their tanks and try and focus out this middle group from Kazna crew.
They were actually not pushing there because most of the Kazna was waiting for that and they were positioned to shoot those Batshots. So that's the reason why they didn't do it. And decision to push here was brilliant, but actually look at this Vale, that FV heavy is not really a damage tankers, not the best ones.
Yeah, Will goes down here. Unshi's taking a lot of damage in his batch shot as well. He goes down towards Nexus. Actually gets caught out a little bit there, but these mouses are still alive. Let's see if they can do anything now. Vetso is the next target, but Storm now taking damage from the side as well. It's Stefan and Diplomat who are now trying to get into the game as well. Piotr takes Amorak damage there. He has to repair that. There comes the second batch shot here. 2 more shots available. Vetso's getting clipped now. He will go down towards the one shot. No, Nexus comes to shield, so still Vetso surviving on 755. And Gunrunners, they seem to be running out of steam a little bit.
Let's face it, the real game here is how to kill each other's clippers first. Mobile tanks. If Mouses stay alive there, they're just going to be outplayed by any of the fast tanks because they cannot really see them, they cannot really chase them, and they will be bound to try to cap. So if Ondrax and Martin die, that's pretty much it for Gunrunners, no matter how low an HP Kazna runs.
Indeed, but Kazna crew still having 5 tanks alive at this point. Stefan picks up Storm. Now Dani here dropping low as well. Martin will now kill Stefan, but still there's so many tanks left from Kazna crew, and Nexus is still pretty healthy in that one. Now Vala goes down towards Martin as well, and he's on high HP. If Dani can do something here, land 1 or 2 more shots possibly, but Diplomat in that T62A will make sure that that TVP gets locked down. Now Dani, can he do 1 more shot here? No! Nexus picks him up, and now it's Martin locked down in the middle road against 3 tanks from Kazna crew.
Well, Nexus says no, Vetso miraculously survived there. I mean, brawling with mouse doesn't pay off. And surprisingly, honestly, TVP is the last man surviving. I would say he would be one of the first tanks to die, actually.
I am not sure that this middle play was the correct one. After all, from Gunrunners, I think they should have rushed the north and killed those 2 mediums.
I think Kazna was waiting with all the snipe guns, and those mediums
No, they were all
probably
shooting
die.
at the mouses.
Yeah,
all
they
of
were
them.
because there was nothing else spotted, but FE heavies are fast aimers. If they're spotted to push, they would die. Question is, did Kazna have a spotter? But we will never know because Gunrunners brought this decision, and the result is visual.
Yeah, indeed, now they're pushing in to kill Martin here in that TVP. And yeah, on reload, can't do much. Nice try here from Gunrunners, but it will be Kazna crew putting themselves on match point here. I really did like that opening there from GRS. Did a lot of damage, and Mojo, they wouldn't have spotted them at all crossing A-line. And you know why? Because there was that "Are you proxying?" They couldn't.
Yes,
peek.
he was proxying, and they had to run away.
Yeah.
Haiba failed to kill
Yep.
him.
And
Probably-
Haiba went down.
Probably.
So they pushed across A-line, kill those 2 guys, 3 cap. Mouses survived for a long time.
Probably that would be a win bet for them, but they didn't bring it, unfortunately for them. And this is a tactics who didn't see it before that was used on Championships Rumble. And Tornado Energy against Navi.
Yeah, perhaps if Unji doesn't die there towards Nexus, he tried to be a little bit too eager in this fight, I guess. He tried to come in, but then Nexus was like, no, it's not happening. He went down, and then second batch shot came in on Jax. But if Unji is alive, then I feel like that fight could have gone either way, really.
I was really actually surprised how well Kazna managed to even melt those mouses on the way there. I mean, they really picked up a lot of damage, and it was mainly done 1 by 1, not like all spread around.
A good game there from Nexus, and a lot of Kazna players here with a lot of damage. Obviously, mouses with that HP. It is very, you know, if you win, you do a lot of damage.
Pretty much there. Now, I mean, Dani finally had a good game there. And Martin in that TVP, obviously, since they were the last guys surviving. Vale was, I think, the guy that took the most damage in the start, if I remember well, from those FE heavies.
He was.
So doing that much after being on so low HP, more or less like deja vu after that 1-1-3 play on Himmelsdorf.
Unji there in that batcha. We talked about it
Yeah.
a little bit.
That's quite an underplay. Same as Haiba, honestly.
I mean, if he, you know, if he takes a wider approach, goes more towards that Huldan area in the back, then he has a much bigger chance to actually do something.
Yes, but that always goes in domain of shoulda, woulda, coulda, and it didn't happen this time. Kazna is on match point, and they are defending on, attacking on Ruinberg.
Attacking on Ruinberg. Well, and this can still, I mean, most likely will be 4-2, unless GRS makes some major mistakes on Ruinberg defense, which is, you know, not the hardest in the game.
No, we know that Kazna is patient enough to do rotations, so they can do it. It's the question just of the tactics they will actually pick to do on a start now. We will see how will Gunrunners fare. The decision they brought on Himmelsdorf was brilliant, and after Ducky pointed out some stuff here, obviously on Ruinberg not so much. So there is potential for this team, but it's still there are those slight things that don't make them tick yet.
Hey, but
well
this
yet.
tactic, the opening was really good. So
It was a good hand.
And Stefan, they're getting a tiny bit greedy for that kill. I mean, if he doesn't miss the shot, he kills him, but he still takes damage in return.
Still, but Stefan knew that kill was very important.
Yes.
Honestly, if he connected that, that would be GG already.
Yeah, this is the point here. I mean, Unji there, you can see him swing out and getting clipped there by Nexus.
It was a really strange play, honestly. Why did he play like that?
Yeah, Nexus,
I would expect him to come straight over the mouses or much wider.
yeah, Nexus played that very well there. And I mean, but if Unji just goes in zero line, he pretty much shuts down that game either way as well.
Yes. But a lot of mistakes in this game costed them, and let's see the lineups for the next one.
Yeah, indeed. Let's take a look at the lineups for our possibly last round here, the Gunrunners.
You're gonna not throw 3 mouses to us, we're gonna throw 3 mouses to you.
Hey, they know our tactic. They're using our tactic. We wanted to do this.
So, but Kazna here has a Grille instead of TVP, and they don't use the light tank, they use 2 tier 9 Butchers, so this looks like more progressive approach, I would say. I think Grilla will cover the middle probably
Well,
in the
Mojo,
start.
you could kind of say that when you play with 3 mouses, you kind of have to progress slowly. Don't you think so?
I think the Butchers can't be used same as that light tank in the start, so they have to play different. That's what I meant.
Well, they'll still be progressing slowly. At one point, one way or another, some part will be progressing slowly. So let's jump into the possibly last round here between Gunrunners and Kazna Crew. So Kazna Crew close it out. Or can Gunrunners at least make it 4-2? We'll have to find out here, as we can see. Only 2 mouses going middle for Kazna.
Well, we've seen something like that also played, if you remember, a couple of times. And I mean, that championship rumble was pretty much a giveaway. That was the last meta used, and probably a lot of teams will rely on it at the moment.
Line shots coming out here from Piotr, and Diplomat not connecting onto anything. Ondrex and Rico covering the north. Ondrex has to be careful, because if they have a Diodor in their team, you know, he'll go down quickly.
So those 2 mouses and Nexus aiming after them there. I mean, the last mouse can be used literally to make a block on a cap, and one of the tier 9 Butchers can just cap behind it pretty safely.
Perhaps that will be the plan here, but look how far Diplomat and Piotr have gone unspotted so far.
Must be the camo.
You think so?
Yeah, this black and white, man. It bounces off the rays, special coloring.
We'll have to see. Now, what is the next move going to be here for Kazna Crew?
Why do we see Gunrunners camo here? But never mind. Kazna here, when they get spotted and attract attention, then they're gonna start to push on the other side. Haiba is also on the other cap, we can see him. So he's gonna trigger a cap there, leave a space open for one of the tier 9s. They're gonna press. Grille is aiming after the mouses, so no one can actually come and try to shoot them point blank. But Enrico is taking so much damage there, and the entire focus from Kazna is there on the houses above the cap.
Ondrex got spotted in his batch shot, takes 1033 damage there. Oh, just about to get save, and now the mouse is here from Kazna. They're in the center field, they're kind of safe, and Gunrunners is taking a lot of damage here, already dropping to 10k, and there comes the hit squad from Kazna Crew. 3 batch shots, gonna go for that A-line crossing. Ondrex and Enrico, I think it is, are in trouble. There's Stefan and Vetso. Vetso only about halfway through his reload. Stefan gets instantly tracked. He's gonna be turning around. He takes a lot of damage from that crossing. He gets tracked again. He will be going down here, Stefan, but in return, Unji is taking a lot of damage as well. He drops down towards the one shot. One more shot on Stefan. Doesn't seem like they will find it. And still, Kazna Crew are starting to drop HP here, but still in the lead.
Kazna was winning the trade, honestly, with those mouses even before this push, and now this will be a disaster for Gunrunners. They didn't even manage to finish off Stefan, who is having another horrible game there, and Dead Driver, but he limped away, and he will cap together with Haiba. Now, what happens here? I mean, Dani cannot even decap. This is just a disaster. This is a game match and point.
Yeah, probably it is, Mojo. Dani there also kind of in no man's land, and still 7 tanks alive here for Kazna Crew, and still these mouses are still alive just in the middle of everything. Diplomat finally had enough of Dani shooting him in the side, turns his turret, takes him down. He goes down towards the one shot as well, and little bit of the story of the game here. One shots all around for Kazna crew. Well, 3 of them at this point. 4 if you count in Vetso. And Gunrunners can't do much. It's now double cap pressure coming out from Kazna crew. 22 seconds, 3 times left standing. They have nothing left.
Man, you know something is bad when baits are still alive. And both mouses here that are a pure bait are still alive. Also Haiba on the cap. This is just a mop-up operation. Gunrunners gave everything they had, but it just wasn't enough.
No, indeed, and there seemed to be a little bit of a flaw in the tactic from Gunrunners as Kazna crew take full advantage, and they will be closing out this game 5-1. Congratulations, first victory of the season, first victory in the league as well. Those 3 points, well deserved.
Well deserved.